What's the good word, y'all? DKB here. So we have two signings to further help address our roster. The first one was quarterback Tim Boyle, recently with the Lions, has old history with the Packers where he overlapped with Rodgers and, of course, Nathaniel Hackett. So at first, it was a little bit of a curious signing to me, but it makes sense after I've seen some of the remarks and things out there, right? This is a guy that knows Nathaniel Hackett's system, and honestly, he knows it during some of the best years with Aaron Rodgers having his back-to-back seasons there. Aaron Rodgers has already had some statements about how good the guy is, commenting on the arm strength and the athleticism, even though statistically the guy is much closer to a Zach Wilson than and even a Mike White for us on this roster. So the way we need to view Tim Boyle joining the New York Jets is that with Aaron Rodgers most likely continuing his trend of being very uninvolved in the offseason events and what's going on, you have a quarterback that Zach Wilson can still, have his questions asked. The offense can still be run during what's going to be another installation period for us. Wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, etc. Everybody will be able to go through Nathaniel Hackett as well as Tim Boyle during this period. And then whenever Aaron Rodgers shows up, obviously they'll have that mentor as well. But ultimately, I think this also provides us hopefully a good baseline for when we're looking at Zach Wilson over the offseason. Ideally, you'll want to hear that he's been leading the pack out of the trio of Tim Boyle, himself, and Chris Streveler. I don't see us even adding a quarterback anymore via the draft specifically. We could still probably add an undrafted free agent arm just to make sure that we have all the targets we want to get out of our practices. I want to say the last two off seasons, but specifically the last one we had 4 or 5 quarterbacks up until when we needed to do final cuts. So we'll see if that continues to be the same trend. But the bigger and better signing for us is defensive tackle Quinton Jefferson from the Seattle Seahawks. This is a guy that I'm pretty excited for just based on what his comments were. He seems like he realizes his strengths and what kind of scheme seems to fit him best. He mentioned wanting to get back in an attacking front. We actually seen how well he could perform in a modest snap count role when we faced the Seattle Seahawks in Week 17. He had 1.5 sacks against us, and I want to say 3 or 5 tackles. But we've seen him have a very, very productive day. So being a part of this defensive line rotation on the interior right now, he's immediately slotted right next to Quinnen Williams. Maybe a small downgrade from Sheldon Rankins, but that depends on which which player you think you're getting, the 2021 version or the 2022 guy. But Quinton Jefferson, productive, 5 or 7 sacks on the season. I think he's coming off a 55 tackle season. Productive in both facets. Again, going back to the game that we played, 1.5 sacks, not playing 100% of the time out there. So he's a guy that you can feel really good about. Doesn't quite fit the same mold of those guys that are just entering second contracts, but still has time to develop and grow into their role. But he's only 30, so you're still talking about a guy that potentially has some of his better years ahead of him. So I would say we have a better defensive line than Seattle right now. So just by virtue of some of the guys that you're going to put him around, you should be able to see a much more productive guy. So I'm excited for both signings realistically just because of what the outcomes could be for both, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I'm assuming most of you are going to swing towards the Quinton Jefferson route, but let me know what you think about both signings, and I'll catch you guys again. Peace.